When Proposal 3 passed last month here in Michigan, a lot of people were wondering what that means for the pro-life movement. Is it over? What does that do for groups that are pro-life? Does this now put that type of speech, that kind of counseling for women who are pregnant? If that pro-life speech prioritizes life over abortion, does that make that type of counseling unconstitutional? No, it doesn't. And Kevin, groups like Right to Life and Protect Life Michigan, while switching their approach now, they are going to continue to speak on behalf of the unborn and to help women with what they call unwanted pregnancies.
Yeah, Tom, the voters have spoken and they have said yes to Proposal 3. That is a huge blow to the Right to Life advocates who work tirelessly for unborn children. The defeat does not mean the end of the effort, however. It may lead to a transition from changing laws to changing hearts and minds. Joining us now is Christen Pollo, Executive Director of Protect Life Michigan. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate you being here. What does that mean to transition from changing laws to changing hearts and minds?
Yeah. Well, this was absolutely a devastating setback for women and for the rights of the unborn that our organizations exist to fight for. But right now, we cannot give up. We fought for decades under Roe v. Wade, which said there was a constitutional right to abortion. And so we will continue to fight under Proposal 3, which says the same thing. I think we can absolutely fight to change things legislatively and advance any laws that Proposal 3 will allow us to advance. But we also need to work on changing public opinion. That's what my organization, Protect Life Michigan, does. We want to expose the injustice of abortion, that is a human rights violation. It is killing innocent human beings, usually using very violent means. And we also want to spread the message that women deserve better. Human rights demand better. Civilized societies do not solve problems through killing.
So does this look like more of an educational mission, or are you going to be offering support for women to either financial or emotional, maybe make it easier to adopt? What does this look like?
Yeah, I think similar to what you saw under Roe v. Wade, I'm going to continue fighting for the day when Proposal 3 is thrown into the trash heap of history. And I have hope that if we change public opinion, we will be able to do that. I think you can expect to see Right to Life of Michigan continue to fight on the legislative front. We'll be fighting to educate people, as you said, and to provide resources to women. Protect Life Michigan works largely with high school, college students, and young professionals. We also run a branch called ProjectRosie.com, where college-age women can find unlimited resources, free resources in their college community, in the state, and even federally to help them solve the root problem. Abortion is really just a symptom. And so I think we have this approach of making abortion unthinkable, unlawful, which is going to be a lot harder with Proposal 3, but also unnecessary by meeting the needs that women have when they're faced with an unwanted pregnancy.
I like that word, unthinkable. And I also like that you brought the human rights issue, because a lot of young people, a big cause for them that they support is human rights. They're in support of protecting life. But that same demographic, they believe in the right of an abortion. So how do you help them see that human rights and abortion are really antithetical, or that the pro-life message is actually a human rights issue?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because that is exactly what Protect Life Michigan does best. In fact, 20% of the people that we talk to about abortion have a change of opinion right on the spot, usually after a 5-minute conversation, by framing abortion as a human rights injustice. We all believe in human rights for all human beings. Science is very clear that abortion takes innocent human life. We know the unborn are human, just like you and I, and therefore abortion is a human rights violation. I know that an unwanted pregnancy is extremely hard. In fact, my mother faced one with me. And I want to be very clear that we should do everything we can to help women facing unwanted pregnancies. The government has a responsibility to help. Churches, community organizations. I have a responsibility to help as an individual. There is only one thing that we are saying we should not do to help, and that's kill, because civilized societies don't solve problems through killing. So women deserve better, human rights demand better, and when people think about abortion from that perspective, they very often have a change of opinion, because you'll find that almost every pro-choice person you talk to has a very deep-seated repulsion by abortion. They're very uncomfortable with it. And that's why often people say they wouldn't personally support abortion. They wouldn't personally have one. And that's because we're naturally uncomfortable with this idea of killing to solve problems. And that's where I have a lot of hope for the future of this state.
Yeah, that's an amazing statistic, that 20% of people you counsel, you talk to, change their mind on the spot. And that comes through education, I guess, revealing what abortion truly is. So bringing to light what abortion is, or maybe the actual procedure itself. Do you talk about that, the actual process of an abortion? And if so, how do you present that? I mean, educationally, to someone who might be hostile to the pro-life message.
I think it's really important that women, especially the ones who are making these decisions, are aware of what abortion is and what it does. So often abortion advocates talk about this issue using euphemisms like my body, my choice, and, reproductive freedom. But when you see abortion, and, I won't get too graphic with your audience, but if you haven't seen what abortion does to a human being, I would encourage you to get online and see it for yourself. We are talking about tiny human beings with arms and legs that are being violently torn apart, really, in the name of freedom. That is not something that a civilized society should accept. And so when we're talking about education, we're absolutely using science, we're using logical arguments. But I think just like in past fights against injustice, slavery, the civil rights movement, we're also using images of the victims to help expose what abortion is actually doing. And it really is horrifying.
Voters in Michigan clearly said they want abortion as an option for unwanted pregnancies. How do you go about changing the perception that having the baby is just too hard?
Well, I think when we're talking about what happened with Proposal 3, one of the things that pained me the most was seeing the money that poured in from New York and California. In fact, just from New York City and Los Angeles, $27 million came to Michigan to advocate for Proposal 3. And so I think there were a lot of voters that voted yes and maybe didn't fully realize the impact that this would have on our state, because we can see across the board in polling that people are opposed to almost all abortion. There are some people that support it very early, before 15 weeks, but over 70% of people believe that abortion should be limited at least at 15 weeks. And now here in Michigan, there's an argument that it will be legal as a constitutional right until birth. So we certainly have a lot of work ahead of us to advance our cause legislatively. But I think, again, having those conversations with people about the reality of abortion, how it's a human rights violation, and that women deserve better. We shouldn't solve their problems by treating a symptom. Instead, we should seek to actually lift them out of their situation. If they feel like they need an abortion because they're struggling financially, let's solve that actual problem of the financial struggle, not kill the child. Women deserve better, and that's exactly what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, pro-life is also pro-woman, and I think that this is such a great cause to help. Unwanted pregnancies is a real deal, and we can step in and help those women who are struggling with that. We appreciate your work and what you're doing. Christen Pollo, for Executive Director of Protect Life Michigan. Christen, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Your calls are next, 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR.